Okay, so why do we care about Luther in terms of the history of the Christian church? By successfully refuting the Pope in his bull of excommunication, Luther helped lessen the hegemony of the Roman Church over Europe. Prior to Luther, if you got excommunicated or the interdict was put on your city or you were called before the Inquisition, that was it. I mean, you were in bad shape if any of those things happened. Luther, because he had such strong backing from the German princes, starting with the Duke of Saxony, he didn't have to worry about that. I mean, the Pope excommunicated him, and how did Luther respond? He excommunicated him back. He said, I'm the head of Protestantism, I excommunicate you! So, nothing happened to Luther. He died a natural death, which would have been impossible 300 years before. So, Luther's action lessened the influence of the papacy over Europe.
Robert, can you define the word bull in that sentence?
Proclamation.
Okay.
But Luther didn't only refute the Pope, he also refuted the emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, which was not holy, it was not Roman, it was not an empire. You'll probably remember that from school, it's still true.
Like the Public Service Commission.
By successfully refuting the emperor, he helped bring about the rise of nationalism. We talk about Luther was in Germany. Well, Germany didn't exist when Luther tacked his 95 Theses up. Germany existed by the time Luther had died. His writing of his magnificent translation of the Bible into German helped kind of solidify Germany as an entity. Luther certainly was a spark that ignited the Reformation, along with Zwingli, which forever changed the face of Christianity in the world. Boy, we could go into a whole discussion of this, which I will not, but if you just think of all the premises of things like the priesthood of believers in terms of Protestantism as opposed to Catholicism, just that right there is a huge change in how Christianity is made. Making the Bible available to large numbers of people in their own language so they could do their own interpretation was a vast change in Christianity. His influence continues in modern times. An extraordinary thing happened on Reformation Day in 1999, so that was 10 years ago. In Augsburg, what's the significance of having it in Augsburg? That's where the Lutheran Church was formed, the Augsburg Confession. A joint declaration on the doctrine of justification was signed by the Lutheran World Federation and by the Roman Catholic Church, personally approved by Pope John Paul II. And basically what this document said was, you know all that stuff that Luther said 500 years ago about we're saved by faith and faith alone, and that's what caused the schism in the church? Well, he was right. I'm paraphrasing slightly on what it actually said, but the Roman Catholic Church agreed with Luther that we were saved by faith and faith alone. Oh, I have it in here. I do that. I spend hours and hours preparing for each course. Together we confess by grace alone, in faith in Christ's saving work, and not because of any merit on our part. We are accepted by God and receive the Holy Spirit, who renews our hearts while equipping and calling us to good works. So observing the holy days of obligation, going to confession once a month, they're not listed in there as criteria. As a founder of the Lutheran Church, although he was not actually there in Augsburg when his lieutenants started the Lutheran Church, they were afraid he would be captured if he went with them. But Luther certainly is the founder of the Lutheran Church. Today there are over 65 million Lutherans worldwide, or at least the first in 1,000 years to use the term evangelical to describe Reformation theology, which is, we're all rotten, we need Christ as a bridge between us and God. By some estimates, there are over 65 million evangelical Christians just in the United States today. Worldwide, it's huge because almost all Pentecostals are evangelicals, and there's 500 million Pentecostals worldwide. This is a big one. Luther was the first proponent of congregational hymn singing.
That's cool.
before Luther, you know, the monks might sing up in the choir, but it wasn't the congregation. Luther wrote a bunch of catchy tunes.
Had a good beat.
Many consider that his "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God" is the greatest hymn ever written. I would certainly
You agree?
agree with